The Super Nintendo, the console where games stopped being regular games to being super games. Thanks to being 16-bit instead of 8-bit, meant games could look better than their predecessors, and thanks to Mode 7 and custom chips, some game could even push the limits of the Super Nintendo itself. It's a console I hold in high regards, and it's one of my favorites, which is why I present you to my top 20 Super Nintendo games. Number 20. Clock Tower is a point-and-click horror game where you control Jennifer Simpson, an orphan that has just been adopted alongside 4 other girls. Here, you have to survive while solving puzzles as well as avoiding the terrifying Scissor Man that lurks around the mansion. I have fond memories of playing the game in high school, being terrified Scissor Man would pop up when I least expected it. Let's not forget how fun it was trying to get the different endings of the game. A bit slow at times, especially the beginning, but it makes for a great horror game. Number 19. A game that is neither mystic nor a legend, but definitely a quest. My number 19 pick is Mystic Quest Legends. A very basic game when it comes to the RPG elements, but I always loved the different dungeons, the awesome music, and the easy to get into gameplay of the game. Sure, it didn't have the most compelling story or gameplay, but it did enough for me to enjoy it. Unlike the more popular RPGs, which was never released in Europe by the way, you could see the enemies before encountering them and choose if you want to fight them or not. I also like the small touch of the adding different animations, so you can know if you were close to killing it or not. Number 18. Hello there, Pilgrim. It's time to ride into the sunset. My number 18 pick is the game Sunset Rider, a 2D action game set in the Wild West. I used to play this game a lot with my friend back in 8th grade, when I recently found a magic that was emulators. We died a lot and we didn't make it very far, but we had a lot of fun. The best part about it was choosing one of the shotgun-wielding characters, then getting a silver and a gold star, and just holding down the shoot button as the enemy came for you as you moved forward in the stage. Unfortunately, this made it difficult for me to avoid the bullets at the same time, which often led to me dying. I love the level variation as well. One moment you could be walking in a town, while in the other you are riding alongside a train. It was a great action game that was even more enjoyable with a friend.
Marry me with my money.
Number 17. A whole new world. Yeah, that's all I got for the lyrics parts. I remember playing the game for the first time at one of my friend's house, and we struggled a lot with the Cave of Wonders carpet escape sequence. Once we finally got past that, we instead got stuck on the level after that, never managing to beat it. Later down the road I would borrow the game from him and beat it. After that I went back to the game and beat it again, but this time by collecting all the red gems. A great memory from my childhood. Besides that, Aladdin for the Super Nintendo is a solid platformer, but no wonder since it was a licensed game made by Capcom during the glory days. I always loved both the music and the overall gameplay of the game, especially gliding with a blanket. The game doesn't really stand out in any particular way, but despite that, it's one of my favorites. Number 16. Whip it good! No one whips it like Simon Belmont does, which is possibly the best 2D Castlevania made in the platformer/action style. Unlike the predecessors, you have much more movement freedom in Castlevania 4. Not only can you control your movements in the air, but you can also jump onto stairs as well as attack in 8 different directions. You can also fling your whip around. For the most part it's pointless, but it's a nice touch. We can't forget the amazing detail put into the backgrounds of the game. Just a shame it's so easy to miss while you're playing the game. Let's not forget the incredible music of the game either, that makes every level exciting. The game's map is much more detailed this time around as well. It was the first Castlevania I beat which wasn't a Metroidvania, which is why it holds a spot in my heart. Number 15. I wasn't sure which Mega Man X I like more over X1 and X2, but I ultimately decided I like X2 just a little bit better. While the first Mega Man X set an amazing standard, I still find X2 more enjoyable in the end. It comes down to the fact that you start with a slide in the beginning of the game, and the Mavericks are much more fun to play against in X2. X had a more interesting designs, but the battles are more fun in X2. The level design is incredibly enjoying as well, and I like it better in X2 for the Mavericks. The Maverick stages, I mean. Plus X2 makes some interesting work with 3D looking models. While the overall plot is a lot more interesting in X1, I still get more enjoyment out of X2. Number 14. Before Square Enix had merged, it was only Square with their Final Fantasy series and other amazing turn-based JRPGs, and Enix with their holy action RPG trilogy of Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, or Illusion of Time, as it was called in Europe. Then there was the final game, and the best one of them, which is number 14 on this list, Terranigma. The game takes place both in the dark and light world, and the light world happened to be Earth, where you set out to rescue the light world from the darkness. The game had amazing controls, tricky puzzles, and amazing dungeons, with an interesting story which could be saddening at times, just like with Illusion of Gaia. It's a game I've picked up so many times but never been able to finish. One day I will, one day I will. It's a game worth to pick up and play. Number 13. You don't see many games replace a demon, which is a shame because there's a lot you could do with it, but that's fine because Demon Crest is really all we need. The game is like a mix between Mega Man and Zelda. It plays like Mega Man in terms of gameplay, and the choice to select levels the way you want them. By defeating certain bosses you also get what the game calls crests and fire powers. It's like Zelda in the term of increasing your maximum life in a similar fashion as that of Zelda. Besides the theme of the game, which I really love, I also love the game's responsive and smooth controls, and the fact that you can fly in mid-air. Let's not forget the abilities the crests grant you, which are so much fun to play around with. Number 12. This is ground control calling for Star Fox. Are you there, Star Fox? Starwing, or Star Fox as it's known as, took huge graphical leaps on the Super Nintendo back in the day with its polygonal 3D. It may not look so appealing today, but back in the day this game looked amazing graphically. One of the first, if not the first game to introduce inverted controls, or even the choice for different control types for a console game. Back as a kid I didn't like it at all playing with inverted controls, but little would I know I'd come to love it as an adult. I really like the fact that the game lets you choose between 3 different routes to travel to your end destination, with different variation of difficulty. I remember only beating the A path, but the A path was enough to satisfy me both as a kid and now as an adult. The controls are responsive, the music was wonderful, and I really like you can change between 2 to 3 different ways to view your ship from. My absolute favorite level would be the Space Armada, where you could travel inside the enemy cruiser and destroy them from the inside. This is a game I would love to see on the Virtual Console in the future. Number 11. Ready, set, blow up! Super Bomberman 2 truly is super. I remember seeing this game for the first time in an old Nintendo Power magazine and thinking to myself, what are you doing in this game? Opening treasure chests? How do you even beat these levels? Little did I know you were supposed to blow up the treasure chests with your bombs. Anyway, the game isn't particularly special when it comes to its single player and story, but the game has a new theme for every world, as well as a boss fight at the end of every world. I really like the music as well, but Super Bomberman 2 truly excels as its multiplayer. Play against 3 computers or against 2 computers and a friend in this high action game. You have different types of levels with different themes, and if you manage to win the set amount of matches, you will be awarded with a perk and golden collar for the next match. Me and my friends sank in so many hours into this game, battling both each other and the computers. It would get really hectic, and especially when time was running out and the battle arena became smaller. Hello everybody, thank you very much for watching the first part of the top 20 Super Nintendo games here on this channel. Now I would like to apologize that the fact that this video took quite a long time to get out there. Unfortunately the next part, because this is a 2-parter, will take even longer to make, and in between I will have to do some other videos, so stay put. But if you're looking forward to the next countdown, then fret not, because if there's any of the games that was presented here in this top 20, let me know down in the comment section if you want me to cover any of those in a review. And with that said, thank you very much for watching this top 20 Super Nintendo games, part 1. And I hope to see you for the next parter, which will come out whenever I have finished doing it. Take care everybody, and I shall see you in my next video. See you then.